Hey everybody, welcome to the Automate webinar. My name's Matt Wilson. I am the Verisurf guru here at QTE Manufacturing, and I'm thrilled to have you guys all here today. First off, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to join this. I really appreciate it. Today we're diving into Automate. It's a powerful tool that can seriously accelerate your workflow and help with backlog that a lot of quality departments face. If you're not already using Automate, I think you'll find a real impact on efficiency, accuracy, and overall productivity. This session is all about walking you through some of the core functions so you can see just how seamlessly it can fit into your current operations. After the presentation, feel free to ask any questions. I am here to help. Let's get started. I hope you guys learned something from today. So first, I'm going to go through the basics. Let me switch over the screen here and we can kind of show you guys some stuff. All right, so we're going to go through just kind of start to finish on a part. I'm just going to kind of go through the process and you'll kind of see all the different things I use. So I'm going to program this for a CMM because we can always take a CMM program and run it on the arm. So from here, first thing I like to do is I need to make sure this part matches my coordinate system of my CMM, how I'm going to have the part sitting. I like to sit the part just like this with these facing towards me. I have a line that I have drawn on the granite that I can line it up to. So first thing I'm gonna do is here, I'm gonna go into Verisurf, 3 planes. I'm gonna pick my Z, my X, and my Y. So this is not how I'm gonna have it set on the machine, so this is super easy to fix. We just rotate about Z. Now I got my X facing the way I want it. So I'm gonna be looking at the part just like this on the CMM. My Y goes back and forth and my X goes left to right. So I'm gonna press OK. Now everything's how I want it. I'm going to go into Automate. If you don't have this tab, it's under here, under View and Automate. So we can go here and put this back on Verisurf. First thing I'm going to have to do is add my probe for my CMM. I'm just going to set this to default. So I got that set up now. There's my probe. Next step I like to do is add a auto align. This is going to be for my single point. I like to do 1 point manual alignment, which that works as long as your part is set up correctly to your WCS. I'm going to double click on this, make sure I have start to base selected. Start device from base selected. That is going to mean that it clears all the alignments prior. So it's a fresh start, which is very critical on a CMM. I'm going to go in here and add another alignment. I'm going to double click on this one. I'm going to leave this off because my second alignment, I want to use my single point alignment. So I'm going to go in here, create a target. I like to just pick it in the corner right here. It's super easy to pick up. Okay. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to actually tell this right click. I'm going to put this as a manual point so it does not automatically go over there. Then I'm going to press escape. I'm going to right click and I'm going to create my targets for my automated alignment. I'll go here, here. And as we're doing this, you can see our path popping up on there. So we're going to clear, clear. So everything clears here. Okay, so we're done. We can click on this alignment and see that everything's going to clear. We can click on both of the alignments together and see that my first point is going to go straight over here and it's going to clear. Because sometimes on other parts, this point might not clear and you'll have to add a go-to point in there. So next thing I want to do is I'm going to measure some circles, which is super simple inside of Verisurf. We have this feature called auto holes. And what it does is as I click one feature, it's going to click all the similar holes to it. So if I was to click these or if I was to click those, I'm going to turn these ones off and just use those right now. And I have a feature type. I can do circles or I can measure as a cylinder. And then if this was facing the wrong way with my vector, I could reverse it and now it's facing them down. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to not click all the holes. So we're going to get out of here. I'm just going to press cancel. I don't want all the holes. So I'm going to go in here, auto hole, just click these, vector's facing the right way. Okay. Now it's automatically going to click all those holes in there. And the thing I like about auto holes is that it puts the size in there. So if we're to pick multiple different sizes, it would sort them by size. And we can always come back after the fact. And like if we did not like a pattern for the arm, let's say, we could right click and we can sort these by different direction, distance, name, however you want to do it. But distance and direction will kind of sort it out for your arm to be a little bit smoother of a process where you're not jumping back and forth across the part. So I'm going to grab all these and take a look. So I can see that these aren't going deep enough for me because of that countersink. So I'm just going to right click, generate path. And right here, I can see my depth is at 0. So I can just drag those down a little bit. And now they all look good. I'm in particularly programmed for a pH 20, which I would like to keep my point right in the center so that my CMM doesn't move, only my pH 20 moves. So I'm going to change my approach distance to bring that center point right in the middle. That way I get no movement from the CMM and everything's done with the Renishaw head. Okay, so now those are all programmed. Let's say I wanted to do this slot. So there's no wireframe on this right now, so I can just click this feature right here, curving all edges, cool. Now I got some wireframe. I can click here, plus sign, and it automatically adds in my slot here. Again, I'm at 0 on my depth, super easy to adjust. Generate path, and I go in here and I change my slot to, you can see how where it's going the wrong way. That's not a big deal. It's just based off of the normal. So we'll adjust that and then we can go negative. And if I press OK and save it, if I was to pick this slot again and add it, of course it went the wrong way again. I just flip my normal and go inside here, generate path. It automatically, since I flipped my normal, I need to go in here for it to reference it, but it puts them back in the same spot again. So I go here, I can, let's say we want to add a sphere and a cone. We can just add those in there. It's going to automatically generate a path for the cone. We got our path in there. If I want to add this feature, add it. Gave me 5 points. If I don't like those, same thing, go in here, generate path. Super simple. I don't want 100% coverage because it's going to hit the edges, so I can go, let's say 80%. And let's say I want to do 10 points and 3 rows. So now we can say I got 3 rows and it's not coming right up the edge. Okay. And again, if we want to make sure everything's clearing from spot feature to feature, just click the 2. We can see that our point going across the top is clearing. Let's say we want to add a surface. We add a surface. And then if we want to add, there's 2 different types of ways of adding surface points. So we can click on here. We can say, let's add some points on here. We can manually place them. Okay. So now this path is manually placed, or we can click right here and we can do surface grid and click it on here and it does like a pattern. And we can go UV number, and this is the row and the column. So we can see, we can adjust it as we like. And we can stay away from the edge a certain amount. We can change this where it keeps it a little bit close to the edge, but sometimes that might not be the best case. So we can kind of shrink that up. Okay. Now we can click both of these and see if they're going to clear. We're all good. We don't need both of them. So we can just delete one of these out. And let's say we want to measure this top surface. So we can do a surface grid. Oh, so this popped up because I still had this feature added and it recognized that there was points in there. So it's saying, hey, you already got the points on here. Are you adding them or are you replacing them? I'm just going to press cancel, click off of here, and I'm going to click this top feature. So we can see it didn't really put that many points on here because they all ended up clashing. So we can turn this down to, let's say 0. We can kind of adjust these a little bit where it gets more points. And let's just press OK. Let's say some of those points ended up a little bit too close. So let's say this one over here, we don't really like it. It's super easy to edit that. We just right click on the path and say edit path. And now we can drag anything we would like to around. Like I said, most of the time you're not doing this, but sometimes you might get stuck in a situation where the path is pretty dang good except for a couple points. You can always just go in there and edit those points specifically. And also inside of here, this is a blue point, which means it's going to measure it. If you want some of these points to not be a measured point and you want to be more of a clearance point, like let's say you're kind of going over something somewhere, we can always just turn that point off, and now this becomes a clearance point. What else we got in here? So we went through features, we went through surface points. So what else we can kind of do with our plans inside of here with Automate is we could put notes. Notes are super handy for arms. Like let's say you have somebody out on the shop floor running a part that isn't familiar with it. We can create a note. The notes get edited inside the report manager. So we double click on it. It's going to pull us right into the report manager. Inside of here, we can have this comment do a few different things. We can have it where it just projects a note. Check probe. We can have it where it opens a file, or we can have it where it opens an image. If we use image, it's going to open it within the comment. If we open a file, it'll open it with your Windows, whatever you got set up to open like an image, which will open it a little bit larger. What I have a lot of customers do is I have them pull up the print automatically, and I also have them do a comment to pull up a picture of the setup, because that can do a lot of time savings. And it's really nice to have that all in the plan where anybody can run it, and it makes it nice and simple. That's kind of a quick overview of Automate. You guys have any questions, let me know. And then we'll jump back into something else.
All right, so that was kind of like a getting started, going through the basics. I'm going to take a look at the chat or the questions. If you guys have any questions or want to see anything, just put it in there, and then otherwise we'll jump on to the next presentation. See nothing? Not yet. I'm just going to jump on it. We can always go through all the questions at the end. So I kind of want to show you guys something here with manual constructs and stuff like that. Let me pull this up and we'll go through some more stuff.
Okay, so somebody asked about construction features for like print, if you want to do like a whole pattern or an angle or a distance. The distance was particularly mentioned. That's pretty simple, but let's say we want to do a overall distance on this part. So we would measure this plane right here. Let's say we want to do, let's say we want that. Let's go less here and more here. Let's say a couple rows of points. Okay. So we're going to press done. I'm going to go over here, click this surface, done. Let's say we want to do the back and the front. So done. And then I'm going to click here and here. Actually, I'm going to unclick here. I'm going to change this a little bit. Let's do a couple points by a couple points. Okay. So then what we can do is we can take these faces, all these, and we can just right click, convert to a plane. They're all planes now. And it's super easy to pick these two. Right click, construct a distance. So now this is going to give me a distance between those planes. And what I will want to do is when I'm doing this is we have a couple different options here. We have a distance in X, Y, Z, and we have a 3D distance. A 3D distance isn't going to really be what we want because that's going to go X, Y, and Z. We just want a distance on X across the two. So we'll just click here, and this will just give us a distance on X. Let's say we want to do a couple lines. I have a couple lines right here. Let's say we want to do an angle. So we can take these two lines, construct an angle, and now we go right here. This is giving us an angle between those two features. If we want to do, let's say, a bolt hole pattern, let me shrink this down. We can grab, let's say we grabbed, what holes? I got all the holes in here. Let's just grab these features. So I got just these features in here. I'm going to grab those and I'm going to do a right click. I'm going to create a circle. Construct a circle. Now I have a circle that's actually constructed from all these features. So this will be my bolt hole circle. If we want to do a intersect, we can also do that. So we have our, where did I make a plane? Let's take this and construct this into a plane. Construct a plane off of it. So I'm not converting it, I'm actually constructing. So I left that as a surface because I wanted to report out the profile. And then I got this plane here, and I can do a intersect to, let's say, this plane. I'm going to click plane surface 2. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to grab surface 1. I'm going to go right click, construct a bisect. So now what I'm going to have down here is I'm going to have a bisect line or a bisect plane from where those intersect. If I want to do an intersect, same thing. Pick a surface. Pick the other surface there or plane. Construct an intersect. And on an intersect, I'll get an intersect line. So we can see my intersect line right here on the edge. You guys want to just hit me in the comments and tell me if there's any other kind of common constructs you're doing that you might be a little worried about having a way of doing it, or how you would just like to see it. Just send me a little comment there and we'll run through it.
All right, so I got a couple different questions in here. In Automate, do you tolerance the same way you would manually? In Automate, do you tolerance? Not quite sure what you're asking, Mike. I don't know if I can. Let me try this. I'm going to do live answer. See if that gives you control to talk. Nope, that didn't do it. You still have to enter manually. Well, yeah, so the tolerances you're going to have to still enter manually. Actually, can you show us how you would do true position? Let me show one last thing for Mike, and then I'll answer your question, Jose. I want to show you something about so you will have to enter it all manually unless you have MBD. And let me show you how you do that, because that is actually super easy inside of Verisurf. Give me a second. I'm going to pull it up again.
pretty nice feature within Verisurf where all we have to do is grab the MBD, right click, plan, create a plan. What that does is it takes the MBD from the print and all the relationships to surfaces and all that from our GD&T, and it creates a plan. So if we go in here, this plan has automatically generated a alignment. It's automatically generated a surface path on all these, and it's automatically generated paths for our holes. And then it also generates all the GD&T callouts for those features automatically for our true positions and for our profiles of the surfaces. And inside of here, what's real nice is it actually grabs the image. It sets our tolerance to that image because this is all assigned within the MBD. So everything is automatically done for us. Tolerance and everything. This report's pretty much ready to go out other than setting up a header. So that was just something real quick I kind of wanted to add in there for you guys. That's a real nice feature with the people that get MBD and stuff on their models. Other than that, that's pretty much all I really want to show to you guys today. So if there's any other questions than the stuff we covered already, go ahead and put it in there for me and we'll see if we can cover it. I'll give you guys a few minutes to put some stuff in there and let's see what we got.
All right. So, Mike, hopefully that gave you somewhat an answer. But yeah, you're going to have to manually do tolerances because Automate doesn't know what the tolerances are until you set them. They're all just going to be defaulted because unless there's MBD, nothing's assigned to the features that you're picking. If there is MBD, it'll pick that stuff up. And it says, can you show how to do true position of a couple holes, define datums? Yep, I'll do that. And I also got a question, project, pierce point, and vector point. Okay, so that's pretty simple. All right, let me share my Verisurf. I'm going to put it on my other screen so if you see me looking away. Share. So here's, it might have not. Is it still sharing? Give me a second. Okay, so here's my plan 1 and my plan 2. Here is my plan with all the, this is my MBD plan, this is my regular plan. So first I want to show, let's just do a hole pattern or a true position real quick. Automate. Oh, I know why. Automate. So let's say we have plan 1. So here's a group. This will be considered a pattern of holes that could possibly have a true position. So what we would do is we would go in here, right click, GD&T position. This gives us a true position. And within here, I'm going to open it up inside of the report manager actually, because that makes it a little bit easier to see what I'm doing. So let me put this on the screen. So inside of here, here's our position. So we have our composite position, our composite with the MMC ID. So we can do like a maximum material or a composite. And you asked about doing datums. So I didn't set up a datum reference frame inside of here, but what we would do is set up a datum reference frame. And inside of here, if you double click on position, it pulls up options. And if we had an A, a B, and a C in here, or D, E, F, whatever it might be, that you would set up it right here, and it would automatically create that for your composite position. And then somebody else asked about how you would pierce the points. So the way I do mine is, if I double click on here, it pulls up my settings. I just project mine on nominal. So you can either project on nominal, or you can pick this to be like let's say if plane 1 is our datum A and we want to pierce it to datum A, we can do it that way. But like I said, with Automate, I usually do project on nominal. That just pierces me right to the surface of the CAD because I'm only looking for X and Y on the circle. It's not really going to change anything if it's on the A datum or not. Do you guys have any other questions while I have this up? If not, that's kind of all I really wanted to show you guys. I just wanted to really get a good quick overview of everything. So you guys, if you do have any other questions, you can always reach out to me at support@qtemfg.com. And I can answer any questions you have. Vectors. So Justin said vectors. Vectors question mark. So if I just click on here and I press letter V, wait a second. If I go to measure, this is all my vectors for everything right here. So you can see my vector, my hole's facing straight up. Is that what you're asking, Justin? Triangle on the, can you see the chat? He said something. I have call outs of a pierce point and vector at surface. Oh, yeah. Okay. Nope. I get it. That's super easy. So
oh, wait, you can talk now.
Justin? Maybe he can't. Either way, I know what he wants. He wants a projected point. So basically what you do, Justin, is inside of here, let's say circle 1, for example. So let's say you want to project it off of the surface. So you would not pick nominal. You would pick the plane like A or datum A or whatever you call the plane, plane 1, plane 2. And inside of here, you would do a plane offset. So I do a plane offset off my nominal and I press OK. I close this down and I look at my plan. Circle 1, I didn't do it. Give me a second. See if I can shrink this down so we can see what we're doing. Let's do it inside of here so then it will show us. So here I'll do plane offset 2 inches. Okay. Project on nominal. And I press OK. If I'd measured this, this would project that point up 2 inches. And that's pretty much what you want. It's basically a projected point. They kind of do that for like tool balls and stuff like that. Basically, wherever the feature is going to mate to it might be 2 inches away. Does that answer your question, Justin? You had to put it a question again. I don't know how else to do this. Sorry. Is Verisurf an add-on for Mastercam? Meaning, so Jose, you can just add it onto existing seat. We've done that before. But yeah, Verisurf comes with a design. Basically, you get a design seat of Mastercam when you buy Verisurf, but there's no reason why you can't just add Verisurf onto your existing Mastercam. As long as you understand that that seat is going to be taken up while you're programming or using Automate. And then audience can see the chat if they click the Q&A. Okay. Justin, did I answer your question? If not, I'll follow up with you anyways, and I'll make sure I can jump on your computer and show you exactly how it works on your part. That might make a little more sense. If nobody else has anything, I'm going to go ahead and call it quits. Just give me a thumbs up, or you guys can just jump off the meeting. It looks like a few people have already left. Hope you guys learned something. If not, reach out. We can always give you guys a quick demo. Have a good one.